Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to start chapter 4 Physical Education and Sports for Children with Special Needs. Today we will be studying the following contents: meaning of adaptive physical education, its aims and objectives. First of all, let us briefly discuss about adaptive physical education. We all know that in a democratic society or in a democratic country, we people all are equal, whether a man or a woman, all are given equal opportunities. Especially the people who are disabled are given special opportunities to develop to an equal level as the normal people. So, the children who are disabled have the right to develop their abilities by the process of education in a democratic country. Such children are unable to undertake the activities that are performed by normal children. We know that there are various children and they have various disabilities like mental retardation, deafness, or other hearing impairment, speech or language impairment, blindness, orthopedic impairment, autism, traumatic brain injury, poor body mechanics, and health impairment. These are some of the impairments or disabilities that the person may have. So, all the children who are disabled are generally unable to undertake the activities which are performed by the normal children. So, for such children, the schools should provide special physical education programs, because nowadays schools are providing physical education programs for normal children, but there are many children who are disabled in one or another way. So, for such children, schools should provide special programs. Physical education, remedial physical education, physical therapy, corrective therapy, developmental physical education, and individual physical education. Basically, these are some common names that came in the first half of the yester century. These names were suggested for special physical education for differently abled children. So these were so many different names. There were so many different names that in 1947 an American association, that is AAHPER, it founded through a survey that adaptive physical education was the most acceptable term for the identification of physical education for differently abled children. Means the AAHPER, this association, conducted a survey and it founded that the term adaptive or adapted physical education was the most acceptable term for the physical education of differently abled children. So this term is accepted now. Now let us understand the meaning of adaptive physical education. Basically, here is the definition of adaptive physical education. Let us understand its meaning in brief. It's a diversified program of developmental activities, games and sports that are suited to the interest, capacities and limitations of disabled students. Means we know that the people who are disabled, they have various capacities and various limitations. For example, one person may have the capability of hearing, but the same person can have the limitation of walking. So there may be different capacities and limitations, and likewise the interest. So these are different of different students. So we conclude that these differently abled children may not safely or successfully engage in unrestricted participation. Means Sometimes their participation in the physical education program cannot be safe or successful. Sometimes they may hurt themselves if they take part in that program, because those programs are organized for the normal children, but these are the children who have some special needs. So there are different programs for them known as adaptive physical education programs. Basically, it is a subdiscipline of physical education. We read this subject or this topic, adaptive physical education, under the physical education. It involves the physical fitness, motor fitness, fundamental motor skills and patterns, aquatic skills, dance skills, individual and group games and sports. These are the area or fields that are included under adaptive physical education. Basically, adaptive physical education is the changed form of physical education or adapted physical education, and it is adapted so that it may be appropriate or correct for the differently abled person. Now, it is basically a specially designed program for differently abled children. It provides safe. Basically, when these programs are organized, they are organized keeping the differently abled children in view. Means they are specially organized for them, and it is kept in mind that their experience should be safe and successful. They should be successful in their experience so that they could be personally satisfied that they are successful in doing the physical activity too. It can be applied for infants and even toddlers who need early intervention services. Actually, sometimes, suppose if a development is to be taken place in the age of 4 years, but due to some delay there is much time gone and that development has not taken place in the infant or the toddler. So sometimes we use the concept of adaptive physical education for infants and toddlers too. And it is an important point to note that adaptive physical education is not only for students or infants, but it is for all the people of all ages. Aim of adaptive physical education. Basically, its aim is to help the differently abled students to achieve physical, mental, social and emotional growth proportionate to their potential. Means we know that despite having some disability, the disabled person has some potential of doing something great. So to bring out that potential and to achieve the growth in all aspects, physical, mental, social and emotional. So the aim of adaptive physical education is to help or aid these students to achieve the growth proportionate to their potential, means according to their potential. How? By special planned program of regular physical education. Or in the simple words, you can say that it aims to provide equal opportunity to the different abled students. Means it basically aims to provide equal opportunity. The differently abled students should not feel that they are not being provided equal opportunity of development. So they are provided with such opportunities that they feel that they are given equal opportunity to participate in these physical education programs. And these are safe and successful too, because they are specially designed for differently abled students. In the least restricted environment, means there is as much possible we should try the environment should be less restrictive. Now, objectives of Adaptive physical education. Ensure services to meet special needs. Basically, it is the main objective of adaptive physical education. How? We all know that there are differently abled students or differently abled people. Suppose if a person is blind, then he or she will have different needs, and if a person has some hearing impairment or he or she is deaf, then he or she will have another needs. So we should keep in mind that ensure services to meet special needs. We should ensure that the services we are trying to provide through adaptive physical education should meet the special needs of such students. Second, develop motor skills. What are motor skills? Basically, these skills we require for some specific task, but sometimes we need these skills in our daily routine activities also, and these enable physically disabled students to become active. If they develop motor skills, if the differently abled students are able to develop motor skills, then they are able to become active and agile too. Next, third point is enhance self-esteem and self-image. Basically, if the students are allowed to take part in the physical education activities, especially the children who are differently abled, if they are allowed to participate in the physical education activities, then their self-esteem and self-image is enhanced. We should try to set goals for such students, and if the students achieve their goal, then they can work on their motor skills and they can increase their self-esteem and self-image. Fourth, ensure participation of students in physical education programs. Basically, we have introduced the concept of adaptive physical education so that the differently abled students who are having various kinds of disabilities, they are also able to participate in the physical activities. And so it is an objective of adaptive physical education to ensure their participation in physical education programs. Fifth, improves physical fitness. Of course, we know that if a person participates in the physical activities, in the physical education programs, then his or her physical fitness is also improved. And if we promote the differently abled students to participate in physical education programs, then their physical fitness will also be improved. Next is motivate students to protect themselves. Sometimes there may be many conditions in which the students need to protect themselves, and the adaptive physical education promotes the differently abled students to protect themselves under such conditions or handle such conditions through certain physical activities. Seventh, promote sportsmanship qualities. We know that whenever we take part in physical education programs, then our sportsmanship qualities are developed and improved. And by adaptive physical education, the differently abled students are also promoted to develop the sportsmanship qualities in them. Next objective is develop knowledge of good mechanics. We all should have knowledge about our body mechanics, and adaptive physical education helps everyone, whether he be a disabled person. The adaptive physical education helps everyone to develop knowledge and sense of appreciation with respect to body mechanics. Improve social adjustment. Actually, by adaptive physical education, the differently abled students get a chance of making social adjustment, because Social adjustment is an essential part in today's society. Participation in programs of adaptive physical education helps these students to make social adjustment. They can be more social towards their society and they can be more friendly with their society by the programs of adaptive physical education. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.